Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Matt. That was a great intro. It was almost like a nice yoga moment, just relaxing before you're speaking. Good morning, everyone. Everyone, my name is Marzia Zafar. I work at Ofgem, and I look after our strategic innovation fund, as well as working with our senior execs to discuss strategy and discuss how we can get to decarbonization in 2035 affordably. So today I want to start with a flashback to circa 2002 and tell you a story about a key innovation that um, nearly failed, and I want to focus in on the reasons of the failure so we don't do that again. I then want to briefly highlight the needs of the the need for innovation for 2035, and specifically talk about a few things that we are really concerned about for the foreseeable future. And then I want to end with a plea that the energy transition should be about transforming with the customer, not transforming for the customer. We have to differentiate ourselves. We are not the customer. We are energy stakeholders, and we need to bring the customers forward. So 2002, I was in California. We were just starting to recover from from our 2001 energy crisis, where a pipeline explosion happened, prices went through the roof. We had Enron manipulating the market, and there was a whole slew of things, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. I was at the time working for Sempra Energy Utilities, and then I moved on to the California PUC. The California PUC in 2002 wanted to focus on residential demand as a response, as a way to avoid or mitigate the next energy crisis. So we opened a consultation. In California, we say proceeding. We opened the consultation on how to develop demand response as a resource to enhance reliability, reduce power purchase, engage customers, and protect the environment. This was in 2002. Fast forward to 2006, it took us 4 years to just get that consultation from point A to a decision point. None of our three largest utilities wanted smart meter deployment. They wanted to keep their analog meters. And one of the main reasons were what to do with the workforce and what to do with the unions that were pushing against us as well. But the PUC moved ahead, and in 2006, we approved $2 billion for PG&E, for Pacific Gas and Electric, to replace its analog meters with advanced metering infrastructure, AMI, or what we call smart meters. That's 5 million electric meters and 4 million gas meters. We ordered them to do so because they wouldn't do it themselves, and we did the same for the other ones. But we started with PG&E at $2 billion in 2006. And remember, we had started the consultation in 2002. The CPUC, the consumer advocates, the utility companies, and other stakeholders all saw this deployment as an infrastructure upgrade. We didn't really think about the customer. We assumed that the customer would just come along, see his or her smart meters, and we'll get them engaged and move on. And that is where we made our mistake, our collective mistake. We built for the customer. We didn't build with the customer. And what happened next was huge customer backlash from the most northern part of California to the most southern part of California. 39 million people. By and large, everybody protested this. Nobody wanted smart meters. I was the chief spokesperson then, and I would go from city council to city council. And I remember once I was at city council in Northern California, in Sebastopol. There's about 400 people. The news cameras were there, and I was talking about the benefits of smart meters. And somebody grabbed their shoe and threw it at me. That's the level of backlash that we were dealing with, because we didn't build for the customer, with the customer. We just told the customer, here's your meter, there you go, bye. Huge delay in deployment. Started in 2002, we ended around 2015. 13 years later, The cost just for PG&E went from 2 billion to about 4 billion and still counting. And at the end, we created the smart meter opt-out program because some customers just didn't want it. And I actually helped ghostwrite that decision for the opt-out program. I think currently about 100 to 200,000 customers just don't want smart meters because they think it's cancer causing, or it's going to increase their bills. And I want to bring this up today because I want to remind us of the importance of building with the customer and what happens when we build for the customer, when we think we know what the customer wants, and when we don't want to bring them along with us, ask them the key questions of what they want, what they're concerned about, rather than assume we ourselves are customers. And the reason is because we're asking for a cultural change. We really don't have customers in the energy business right now. We have bill payers. We have passive bill payers in the energy world. And that cultural shift is as much on us as it is on bill payers. We first need to change our mentality and see them as customers rather than bill payers. And we have to find a way to convince them that they have to be part of this transition. Not every single one has to sit there and choose demand response. But if you have an EV, if you have smart devices, you have to be somewhat more informed and educated, or else your bills are going to go up, or else we're not going to be able to get to net zero. So, sorry about that. And next I want to talk about the needs of the UK system and what kind of innovations we need. And I'll do actually even better than that. Yesterday, with Innovate UK, we launched the challenges for 2035. We have the Strategic Innovation Fund that is a $450 million fund £450 million fund that Matt mentioned. And it's over the course of 5 years. Every year we open up a challenge to say, innovators, this is what we're looking for. Here are the solutions we need. So yesterday we launched the solutions that we're looking for the next round of CIF funding. And if you're interested, please look at Innovate UK's website. Please look at Ofgem's website. We have the challenges, and they're not, they're a bit more granular. We're looking to make sure that connections, we find solutions for connecting into the system, that we find solutions for investing at the right place at the right time in the energy system, and we're looking to make sure that the system is digitized. In order for us to make net zero work, we need to give demand response, flexibility providers, visibility to the system, where the constraints are. So that visibility may be at the substation level, and then how to protect that visibility from nefarious forces. So those are all the types of innovations we're looking at, but far more specific is on our website that tells you the 4 challenges that we will fund for round 3. We are transforming a system that was built for bill payers into a system that needs customers to make it work. And I think California's intention in 2002 was spot on then and today to bring smart meters as a foundation to digitize the system. We need suppliers here in the UK to do a much better job of deploying smart meters. Smart meter deployment right now, I get alerts from my supplier. I just delete them. There has to be a more sustained customer awareness campaign of why smart meters are the foundation of a digital system. And we haven't done a good job of that here in the UK. Next, I'm going to go in order of importance as I see it in my head of the types of innovation that we're looking at. Balancing the system, guys. I think that is a humongous challenge that we need a solution for. As more and more renewables come online, how do we keep supply and demand 100% matched 100% of the time? Right now, balancing costs are increasing a lot more than what we had expected. We need to come up with a solution for how to balance the system as more and more renewables come online. So we've changed from static supply to dynamic supply. We're moving from static demand to dynamic demand. And all of that needs that digitalization, needs for us to change our mentality. And then we need to shore up infrastructure. We need to make sure that we have the right investment at the right place at the right time with the right price signals for the UK energy system to be upgraded. Because electricity demand is going to go through the roof because of electric heat pumps, because of EVs. The network right now is already congested with the existing demand. We need to shore up that investment. So we need solutions, we need better ideas on that. And then we have to reform our market arrangements. And that's when I was talking about the price signals. We need to design the system to make sure that we have the incentives for companies who want to invest in our system to come in and invest at the right place, invest at the right time. And then we need to reform the system to allow for these millions of EVs to come online. We keep talking about millions of EVs, and I'm sure that it's going to come. Or I think at a million, more and more are going to come online. How do we get the EVs now to be not just taking electricity, but also giving electricity when it's needed? So that V to X, V to G, we need to normalize that. That shouldn't be a niche system. And then finally, I would say that successful innovation has to start with the customer. We have to get out of our mindset that we are the customer. And I can point to many other instances post the 2001 energy crisis in California that I was a part of, that we went through this thinking we are the customer and we're going to build for this and people are going to come in and engage. That's not going to happen. So I would urge all those innovators who think that you have this great idea. Think about the mom and pop shop or your grandmother or your neighbor. Are they willing to take on that solution? Because if they're not, then it's not the right solution for us. We need those people to be part of the system. I think that's it for me. So I will end there. I hope I was somewhat helpful. And if we have some time for Q&A, do we, Matt?
Yes. So,
okay.
Right. Sorry about that. Hopefully your ears are not burnt out as mine. So we do have time for a little bit of Q&A. We've got about 9 minutes or so.
Oh, nice.
There is a Slido, so guys, if you're on Slido, maybe we can get the QR code up there. So please take a picture of that, and I will do my best to facilitate questions. Maybe just while that's bringing up, to log things on, maybe just some thumbs up if anyone's got any immediate questions for Marzia, burning news on your mind. Now's the time just to call it out. And I will do the mic thing, because a roaming mic, I am roaming mine.
Hi there, my name is Sweeney. My question is, what role does taking users, taking power off the grid have in?
I'm sorry.
So a question about taking users off the grid and connecting using local capacity.
I wouldn't say anything's off the table. You know, we have just gathered the low-hanging fruit from 1996 that Matt mentioned until now. You know, we've removed coal, but now it's about the customer. So however way we can make the customers be part of the system, whether that's off the grid and having a microgrid working with them, or local community, local generation, I think we're up for it. But we need those innovations. We need those innovators to come in and be part of the system and work with us and explain it to us so that we can make the right regulatory reforms, the rules and the regulation transformation to make that happen.
Cool. Thank you for the question. Okay, we've a great question here. Within.
Okay.
Around the innovation hub and what you would like to see maybe what an innovative regulator looks like?
I was with the California PUC for 10 years, and I've been with Ofgem for about 11 months. Um, it's a different mentality. So I think California PUC is more, uh, uh, I would say California PUC regulates more. Ofgem um, is more about making sure that there's a balance between competition and consumer protection. And so innovation, I don't remember California PUC having a fund of $500 million. So I think with that, it tells me that Ofgem is a bit more progressive in pushing for innovation and taking some risks and trying to bring affordability in 2035.
Cool. And apologies, we understand that it's a little bit quiet there. Apologies. I think the AV guys are going to look at that in a second. So, another question here around: do you have any tip or pointers regarding applying innovation fund competitions? Tips for innovators in terms of how to go about applying it?
Ah, talk to that man right there. That's my answer. So I think if you go to the Ofgem website and look for the Strategic Innovation Fund, we have especially for round three. So round three, your ideas start to come in around, I think, June of this year, and then in September or so, we will invite you for some pitch sessions, for some interviews, and ultimately, we want to partner you with a network company. So you can come in with a network company, bring in your innovation. So once we go through that process, your innovation is automatically integrated into the system, but because you do have that network partner. Sometimes having that network partner becomes an obstacle because network companies will maybe a bit more conservative or may want to do business as usual. And that's fine as well. And if you think that you have this great idea that's going to bring us um, the solutions needed, and if you're not seeing the success or you're not getting those calls answered by the DNOs, you can come to us. You can come to Matt. You can come to me, and we can try to see if we can open the door through us. So I would say, go through the distribution network companies first, and then if you get rejected at that level, come back to me and Matt, and we can figure out if there's a need there, if there's a benefit there for all of us to work together.
You must. One more here in terms of: do you see future energy provision to continue to be centralized, distributed, residential renewable installations?
Oh, that question. I can give you my opinion, but I don't have an Ofgem opinion. That is still being discussed and planned out, and it's the design of the system, whether that's locational marginal pricing, whether that's zonal or nodal. Those questions are being hotly debated right now, so I'm not going to give an answer to that.
And I think we have time for maybe one or two more, and I'm going to get to all the questions, so there's been quite a few here, but what role do you see green hydrogen playing in a future grid capacity?
When I was at the World Energy Council, I wrote a paper on green hydrogen. Is it hype or not? I hope green hydrogen is here. I think the UK government has set a target of 5 gigawatts by 2030. It's not cost effective right now or scalable, but I think we have to count on it in the next 10 to 15 years for it to be scalable and cost effective. To me, short of having long duration energy storage, and green hydrogen can be a source of that, I don't think we can get to net zero. So I hope that green hydrogen becomes cost effective and scalable by 2035.
Great. Okay. And I think maybe last question is around culture. So to drive energy consumption improvements is also needed, both within the public sector. What's the view?
Oh, of course. I mean, but we we're providing a public necessity, right? Energy is a public necessity. It's almost a universal right in developed countries. So it's regulated. There's monopoly ownership. In things move extremely slowly, and it's very risk averse. It's an extremely risk averse industry, both on the regulation side as well as on the generation and supply side. We need to change and become and adapt a bit more. But I don't think we need to become you know, we need to be so risky to be like a startup or to be another industry that's more risky. I think we continue to be risk averse because we are providing a universal right, a basic necessity, but we also need to get rid of the GHG emissions. So with that, we are dabbling a little bit into the risky side, but not too much.